Hi, I'm Ellie Crystal from crystallinks.com. Today is Friday, June 2nd, 2017. Yesterday, President Trump made an announcement that really didn't come as a surprise to most people, but perhaps more of a disappointment when he said the United States was withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord. This is something that all nations are working towards in terms of saving the planet and what they can do to save the planet. I look at everything as duality. Most people will say this is a bad idea. In this case, there'll only be a few people who will say, yeah, well, it's a good thing, you know. Trump has said we'll renegotiate as time goes by. Several of the other countries said no. But when we move up to 2020, and we will be part of this accord until the year 2020. There'll be another presidential election, and the way things are going, anybody could beat Trump, even I could, really, when you look at it that way. A lot of things are going to happen between now and 2020. The climate, the natural disasters, no matter what people in different countries are trying to do, these things are accelerating. I come from a place of this is a hologram, we're in end times, to sum it up really briefly, and that there's nothing we can do, that I'm not a doomsday theorist at all, but we're coming to the end of something and the decline of the planet itself, so that maybe some people say it could reemerge as something better. It could reemerge in another reality, another dimension. I mean, there's so many theories about ascension, where we're going, what we're doing. But the bottom line is, I think that no matter what the countries do, there's no stopping the inevitable. It's here, it's happened before, supposedly. You know, I take all of history as maybe it did happen, maybe it's myth, maybe it's an insert in the hologram, maybe it's something else. But with the pros and the cons, this is what Donald Trump has set forth, okay? When I listen to a lot of what people are saying, much of this accord also, just like anything else that goes down in this world, has a financial component to it. It is about people, okay, being altruistic. It is about people who want to, they want to make the air and the water and everything else cleaner. They want the planet to be a safer, wonderful place for themselves and their families. But then there's also money. Everything seems to come back to money, but that's really, I don't know, I don't get involved in the financial aspects of each little thing as it comes by. I just look at it and say, here's the negatives, here's the positives. I know people who would be marching and protesting and doing whatever they need to do to help us stay in this accord. But how many of those people really know what's going on? What's going on with the funding? What's going on? Is the hologram itself, okay, sending in climate and earth changes faster than we can resolve them, and therefore we're blaming them on generations before us? There's so many ways to look at it. Everyone, like everything else, everyone's going to have an opinion. They're going to process, they're going to say what they have to say. And you know what? Nature, because we talk about this is nature. Nature will do what it's programmed to do, just as we will. Hopefully in whatever time remains, the climate will be sustainable, that life on planet Earth will be sustainable. I do not believe that planet Earth, that all humans on this planet are going to perish. I just feel that we are a simulation and it's going to end, and it's really very simple, and nothing has anything to do with anything. Now, Donald Trump made this statement, and I wrote it down, and I thought it was very interesting. Donald Trump said he wanted a better agreement, calling the current one Draconian. Now, to most people, Draconian has whatever meaning it has. You can talk about, dragons, and dragons got a DNA. And in my world, there's a theory that there is a reptilian species of aliens that came from a place called Draco, and that they interact on this planet. And I thought it was an interesting terminology for him to use, because I've always felt that Donald Trump was not a suitable president, but there are forces behind him, and I don't mean our human government forces and things like that, and cabals. Yeah, there's probably cabals, and definitely not about the Russians, but there are forces that have put him in place and are keeping him in place. He did a very cool thing recently when he visited Saudi Arabia, and it was him and two other people from that country, and they put their hands on this glowing orb. And some people took pictures of him in the dark, and whereas the others, you could see their eyes. With Trump, it was like the image of the eyes missing, like the gods. It, to me, I mean, I have to go by my psychic sense too. I said there is something guiding Trump that even he doesn't understand, that we don't understand. It's all that always behind the scenes stuff. Remember that everything that plays out here is always guided by things behind the scenes, be it cabals, not the obvious things you see, but it could be cabals, it could be aliens, it could be, this week, Robert Bigelow came back on the scene today. There's articles about him everywhere, and his theory is that aliens live on the planet, can morph into a human form, and they, interact on the planet. When I was first learning about this type of behavior, I was told that government officials are really aliens. I know that's X-Files stuff, but they really are aliens, and they've taken human form, and they're, I don't know, all the usual scenarios. They want to take over the government, take over the world, take over whatever. I never really bought into that, but I mean, anything is possible. I always say, just because it's not my belief system doesn't mean that it's not possible. But the word Draconian took me to this domino thing. Draconians, aliens, reptilians, the Anunnaki, the Sumerian gods, those who created biogenetic experiments and have left artifacts and other points that say aliens were on this planet before, other things that say, wait a minute, we might have an alien reptilian brain, reptilian something, okay? There's something more going on here. I mean, that reptilians still are part of this, this hologram, and you want to call it an evolving hologram, or you call it whatever you want. Every culture has its own way of describing what's going on now and where it's all going. But the whole way he used, of all the terms, he used the word Draconian. I just found that very interesting, because the Sumerian Anunnaki biogenetic experiments revolve around the snake, and the snake is the caduceus, and DNA, human DNA, and little things we're finding out about DNA all the time. Look at it this way, like spiraling DNA, twin spiraling DNA, okay? We are down here, third dimension. It is spiraling upward. What does it mean besides DNA? Consciousness. Consciousness spirals. So our consciousness is being fed all these little things that we can protest, we can investigate, we could go forward with, and come to some kind of alternative conclusion that we may not have done years ago. Years ago, we would have overlooked the word like Draconian. We would have said, well, someone like Donald Trump could never have been president. Some of us feel, well, maybe he won't stay president. I personally feel somehow he got elected because he has a greater purpose that is yet to show itself. I mean, pretty much he's taken all the old paradigms and ripped them all down. And it's like you sit back and you wonder, and then you tell yourself, well, a lot of those things really didn't work anyway. Okay, maybe they were just destined to be over at some point soon. But I have to say this much for what's going on in the world now. It gives you a lot of food for thought. Social media puts it out there quickly, faster than a speeding bullet. Like this week, Donald Trump came up with a blog expression, kofifi, okay? And nobody really knows what it was an autocorrect probably, but it was just such a waste of people's time to figure out what his tweeting is about. You know, he's all right. I'm not going to go into a tirade about him, but he does have emotional problems. He is being guided and protected by something greater than we are aware. His decision to pull us out of these accord, the Paris Climate Accord, he's saying that he wants to do this because he wants to renegotiate somewhere down the line and maybe have another deal, create a new deal. There's a lot to go between now and 2020, and I know you're saying, oh, Ellie, but time goes so fast. True, time does go very fast, but so does everything else right now. And as we look at reality in life and climate and natural disasters, it's all spiraling out of control. It's that DNA, reptilian, it's all going somewhere. So whatever you've concluded about the United States no longer being part of the Paris Climate Accord, or at least it won't be after 2020, take it slow, take it easy, and focus on things that you can do. If there's anything you can do that can help the climate and the planet, go for it. But also, I blog every day, and I mean, every day these climate changes, some people call them weird or extreme climate changes, they're happening, and I truly believe they are unstoppable no matter what anyone does. So it's for you to decide how you want to look at this, and take your time, think about it, don't get all crazy about it. We got time, but I don't think too much. Thank you.